All right. Hey class, this is Mr. Cooper. We are once again back in Module 2. Today we're on Lesson 25, and we're going to run through this problem set. So let's get to it. So this says estimate the quotients. Remember, quotients are answers to division problems, right? These are all division. So, and it's asking us to estimate, right? So we will, there's a couple different ways that you can estimate the quotient, but the answers should all basically be the same, right? So there's a couple different ways that we could approach this. Let's zoom in a little bit more on A. A says 3 and 24/100 divided by 82. So one way I could estimate this is change part of this to unit form, right? So I could change, I could change this 3 and 24/100 into unit form, but write this number as ones and round it, which will make it easier. So let me just show you what I mean. 3 and 24/100 would be the same as 324/100, right? And I would round this probably to 32 because the 4 would round this down. So I would write this as 320/100. So I'm writing this as unit form. It would have been 324/100, but I rounded this to 320, right? Look at the number, look at the digit, look next door, 5 or greater, add one more, 4 or less, which is it is, let it rest. So it's going to stay 32, but it's 320/100 because this is coming out to the hundredths place. And then I'm going to keep writing it divided by, and what would be a good thing to divide 320 by? Well, I'm seeing this number 82, and I know that 8 goes into 32 evenly, so I'm going to change it to 80. All right, I'm going to round it down to 80. And so I know that if I drop this 0 and this 0, I'd really just be doing 32 divided by 8, and that gives me 4. But I'm talking about hundredths. So I'm going to make this 4 be in the hundredths place. So if that's the hundredths, then I need a tenth and then my decimal right there. So I'd have 0.04. Something like that. So there's a couple different ways you could do it. You could have also just rounded this to we're estimating, so the best thing to do is always start off with rounding and see if it gives you something easy to work with. If not, we could also do it like 3.20 divided by, no, not 4. No. By 80. Right, and so I know that would give me, raise up my decimal right there, and that would give me 4, right? It won't go, 80 is not going to go into 3. It's not going to go into 2, but it will go into 320, and it'll do it 4 times, right? So that's another way you did it. I still rounded it. I still used estimation to help me solve that, right? So there's different ways that you can do it. What you can't do differently is get a different answer. These answers should all pretty much be the same. If you got something that you really feel is close, you can pause the video and come and talk to Mr. Cooper. There might be some ones, but you should be shooting for one of these answers that I have up here. So let's try B together, and then after that, I'll release you to try to do the rest of them by yourself. So let's look at 361 and 2/10 divided by 61. So right off the bat, I am seeing a 36 and a 6. And I like that because 36 divided by 6 would just be 6. So let's see if we can estimate or round these numbers close by. I'm going to change this 361. I'm going to round it down. I'm going to round it to the tens place, which would make it 360. right? And then I don't have to have the rest of that, right? And then this would round down to 60. And like I said, I like that because these cancel out, and then I just got 36 divided by 6. That's going to get me 6, right? I could do it the same way as I did up here with unit form, but unit form really only helps us when we have when we're trying to keep it in the decimals, right? And we got rid of this decimal right here. At this time, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to let you try to do these. Remember, you're not always going to round. Sometimes you're just going to change it, right, to something that's close that would be easy to work with. Okay? So, like for instance, I'll just go ahead and give you a clue. I see a 3 here. That doesn't go into 7 evenly, right? But I could change that 7 to a 6. There's no way that I could round it and get that. But it's close to a 6. I know 6 divided by 3 is good. And that's the only kind of clue I'm going to give you. I want you to try to do C, D, and E by yourself. And then I'll have the answers pop up in 3, 2, 1. So you should have got something like this, 0.2. Right here we see change it to 6 divided by 30. And that gave us by 10. Boom. Right? And that gave us 0.2. Right here we got 90. We just round that up to 90 and round that down to 30, and that would give us 3. Very easy. This is super close to 28, so just make it 28. Any number divided by itself equals 1. Kiss your brain if you got all of those right. So let's look at 2. 2 says estimate the quotient in A. Use your estimated quotient to estimate B and C. Don't worry about this. This is really a weird direction. What it's saying is basically notice how all of these digits are the same. We got a decimal that's moving around. But don't worry about that. Just kind of treat it the same. You're going to round them to the same, or estimate, I should say, to the same digits. But once again, the decimal is going to move around. So I'll do A for you, and then you can try the rest by yourself. So I'm starting off the bat, I'm looking at 7 and 1600ths divided by 36. There's a couple different ways you could do this. I think the easiest one, though, would be, I like to start with rounding the divisor and then seeing what that gives me and moving from there. So that divisor is 36. I could round that to 40. And then I think about 40 doesn't really go, or 4 even, doesn't really go into 7 evenly, but it does go into 8 very easily. 2 times, right? So I'm going to change 7 and 1600ths. I'm not rounding it, but I'm just changing it to 8 because 8 is super close to what we're talking about. So now I have 8 divided by 40. Now just the way we've been reviewing in the past couple days, ways to write this in separate steps, is I could rewrite 8 divided by 40 as parentheses 8 divided by 4 divided by 10. Remember, this 40 is really 4 times 10. So I can just divide each part separately. I can split that 40 up, I'll draw a picture, into 40, or 4 times 10, right? And then that 4 goes here, that 10 goes there, and we're dividing, right? So we're treating it as a division. And what does that give me? Well, 8 divided by 4 gives me 2. And then this divided by 10 part also comes over still, so we got divided by 10. Right now, and now you'd be thinking, well, 2 divided by 10, how do I do that? Once again, remember guys, we are just, there's always a decimal right here, whether or not we write it. And we're just dividing by a base 10 number, or a power of 10, or it's all the same. We've been doing this since the very beginning of the year, right? If it helps you, I always like to move down and do scratch work. I know that my decimal is actually right there. I'm dividing, so I'm moving to the left, and I'm going to move 1 time. Boom. Decimal. So I would have 0, decimal, 2. And my answer would be 0 and 2/100ths. Now, like I said, beep, see if you can do these by yourself. Know that the best way to do this is to kind of change these numbers to the same thing. Just remember that the decimals are going to be in a different place, right? So we're going to kind of use the same digits, 8s and 4s and 2s and stuff, but you're going to try to do it right here. I'll go ahead and pause the video and let you try to do it by yourself, and I'll have the answers up in 3, 2, 1. So these were really easy. We can change that to 800. This is the 40, right? 8 divided by 4 gives me 2. Right? We canceled out. So we had 8 divided by 4 gives me 2, and then I bring over that 0, and that gives me 20. Then right here, I got a 71 and 7/10. I could change that 71 to 80 divided by 40, right? These zeros cancel each other out. That gives me 8 divided by 4 gives me 2, right? Kiss your brain if you got those right. And let's go ahead and move on. So let's look at what this says. Edward bikes the same route to and from school each day. After 28 school days, he bikes a total distance of 389.2 miles. Estimate how many miles he bikes in one day. So I know that I would be dealing with something like 389.2 divided by 28. But that's a really ugly number to deal with. Like I said, like it says, we can highlight, we can estimate. And so when I estimate, I like to estimate with the divisor first. I like to round the divisor first and then see what it gives me and see if what I can change over here to make it easy to work with. So 28 would round up to 30. And then so I'm looking at that 3 right there, and 3 goes into 3 pretty well. That's not going to get us very close though. 3 doesn't go into 38, but it does go into 39. Right? So and I don't have 38, I have 389. So I'm going to change that to be 390 divided by 30. And then I could do this a couple different ways. I could break this apart and do 390 divided by 30 is the same thing as 390 divided by 3 divided by 10. So I got that. It's 3 times 10. So I put my 3 there, divided by my 10 there. I'm splitting that 30 up into easier chunks to divide with. And then I know that 39 divided by 3, if I pull that 0 off and I just do 39 divided by 3, that gives me 13. And then I got that 0 that I got to bring back, 130. Then I bring this part over, divided by 10. And then if I just cancel those zeros, that gives me 13 divided by 1, which is 13. Right? So my answer is going to be something like Edward bikes about 13 miles a day. We're going to say about because it's an estimation, right? It's not exact, so we use the word about. Let's continue on. If Edward continues his routine of biking to school, about how many days altogether will it take him to reach a total distance of 500 miles? Okay, so we're going to have to use the information that we did up here, 13 miles a day. But I'm going to let you try to do this one by yourself. We're going to need to round. It says about. And you might need to round this number. You might need to round that number. Okay? You're going to need to change 13 and 500 to be something that you can work with more easily. There might be a couple different answers, but we'll go over that in just a second. I want you to try to do this one by yourself, and we will have the answers. Go ahead and pause the video, and I'll have the answers pop up in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I got the answer. It will take about 40 days to reach 500 miles. I did it two different ways. Either one of these would be an acceptable answer, but I'll tell you why this is a better answer. So we could change 13 up to 15, which is an easier number to multiply, and then we could round this down to 450. And that would give us 45 divided by 15 is 3, with the 0 is 30. That's pretty easy to do. The reason why I think this is a better number, though, is because here we rounded 500 down, and we didn't have to go all minus 50. We only minus 20. So we changed 500 less, right? And then from 13, we went down to 12. And that was 1. Instead of going up 2, we went down 1, and 1 is less than 2. So these numbers right here are a little bit closer to the original numbers. We haven't changed it as much. So I think that that's a better answer. But if you got 30, I would give it to you. If you got a number in between 30 and 40 and you can show Mr. Cooper like a reasonable, show me some good work, I might give you credit for it. We'd have to talk about it. Okay, so if you're not 100% sure on this, go ahead and pause the video and come and talk to Mr. Cooper. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and move on to 4. Xavier goes to the store with $40. He spends $38.60 on 13 bags of popcorn. About how much does one bag of popcorn cost? So I'm going to pause this video. I'm going to let you try to figure this out by yourself. You can, it says, remember, it says about, which means that you can estimate. Okay? So go ahead and try to do this by yourself, and we'll have the answers pop up in 3, 2, 1. So I got the answer. One bag costs about, remember we're dealing with estimation, so we need to include the word about, $3.90. Okay? Here's my work. If you don't understand how I got this, then you can pause the video and come and talk to me. If you got this right, other than that, let's go ahead and move on down to part B, which is going to include the rest of this. Does he have enough money for another bag? Use your estimate to explain your answer. So I'm going to let you try to do this by yourself. Remember, they gave us some information up here. Clue. This number and this number. They gave us some information up here that we got to use, and then we'll use our answer right here. So go ahead and pause the video, and I'll have the answers pop up in 3, 2, 1. $3.90 is greater than $1.40. I wrote that down there just for clarification. So my answer is no. Xavier only has $1.40 left, and a bag cost about $3.90, which is more than he has left. I showed my work over here, right? He had $40, and he spent $38.60, which leaves you with $1.40. Right? He does not have enough money. So I hope you're feeling really good about this. If you have any questions, if you're not feeling good about this, if you're not feeling confident about it, come and talk to Mr. Cooper with your problem set. Bring your workbook over, and we'll talk about it. If you're feeling good, go ahead and get on to the exit ticket and make sure that you're moving and bringing it somewhere near me so I can see you taking that exit ticket. And then when you're done, you can do iStations, Cocoa Sheets, or work on Quick Flash flashcards. I'll catch you next time.